someone who's living a life of perseverance. We've decided to just let a little bit of air out, a little pressure out of the tires, to take the pressure off of ourselves, and instead give it to God. You have determined to move forward, even if you have to slow to a steady eddy crawl. You refused to go backwards or to even quit. It's knowing that our biggest battles are always won on our knees, knowing that crawling is better than quitting. Sometimes an extreme life of faith, someone living an extreme life of faith, their life is measured and their growth and progress is measured in inches, one after another. Most of the time, our extreme life of faith is measured in miles rather than in miles per hour. An extreme life of faith is like taking a long drive and deciding not to turn around just because it's a little hot, or you get a little car sick, or in this case, a little truck sick. You decided not to turn around just because things get a little bit uncomfortable, or you get a few small delays. It's certainly not about you to turn around just because the road gets a little bumpy, or even if you get a flat tire. You decided to persevere, move forward, go through it, progress ahead. Believe God, and what He says is true. Several years ago, I was singing for a Christian rock band, and we were traveling through Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. Well, we finished our last gig of that particular tour, and we decided we wanted to go ahead and drive back to Amsterdam, Holland, where we were living. So we packed up all of our equipment, and it was really cold. It was really late. We decided we're going to go ahead and continue on in the journey. Well, actually, we got about halfway home. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. There was one particular heater that was blowing hardcore up in the front, one vent. And we were piled in the van. We couldn't even move. We had sleeping bags wrapped around us. Unfortunately, because of all the equipment we had in there, all the heat stayed up in the front of the van. Well, eventually, our driver of the van decided he was going to take a few minutes rest and fall asleep. He fell asleep right in the middle of the drive home. Well, we were pulling some equipment behind us in the trailer, and so as he began to fall asleep, he went down into the ditch. The trailer went with us. A couple bumps were hit, and I actually ended up on the top of the inside headliner of the car, and we were flying around. Eventually, the van decided to flip on its side, and it slid through the ditch, and there's equipment and glass flying everywhere. Eventually, the van takes a little bit of a dip up back towards the freeway. We come sliding to a halt. Well, we crawl out of the windows and figure out what in the world's going on. There was 2 pregnant ladies actually in the van with us, plus two different bands. And we all decided we were not hurt. God had taken care of us. Thank the Lord. So what we did is we crawled out of the window and we looked behind us, and some of the band equipment, including a coffin that we had as a prop, was stretched out right in the middle of the freeway with the sun coming up just behind it. It was a scene I'll never forget, to see all of our stuff in that coffin laying right there in the middle of the freeway. Well, after a few minutes, the police came, and then a wrecker came. The wrecker began to hook up his hook in the front of the van to pull us off to the side of the freeway, and he realized that the steering wheel, the steering column, had been broken at its core. Well, he went and found out from the driver of the van, that was awake now, by the way. He said, "Hey, man, what happened here? And do you realize that the steering wheel's broken?" He said, "No way, man. I never, ever let go of that steering wheel." Well, the cop said, "You know what? Most people in those kind of circumstances do let go of the steering wheel." Faith is a little bit like a steering wheel in our walk, or our drive in this case, with the Lord. It's not a spare tire that we just pull out every now and then in the case of an emergency. Instead, faith is the substance of something that we can hold on to. God's word tells us that in Hebrews 11:1, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. What substance? Substance is something you can hold on to. So don't ever let go of the steering wheel of your faith, even though sometimes things may look like they're a little bit out of control around you. Hold on. In faith, we can hold on to God, and He will steer our life in the very same way that He can steer a car or a truck with a steering wheel. God can steer your life through faith in the same way that He steered our van that very cold morning in Sweden, even though things seemed to seem out of control. You know, our faith will see us through even the hardest times. Within a few hours of the wreck that morning in Sweden, God had provided a new form of transportation for us. And because of our faith in Him, we were in it for the long haul. We had resolve to persevere. Within a few hours of that wreck that day, we were back on the road again. I know that's right. So don't ever let go. Don't ever let go of the steering wheel of your faith, because in a life of extreme faith is willing to take the long drive, the long look, in spite of a few bumps in the road or minor setbacks. May you never be able to say that the only regret you ever have is that you didn't try.
Death whispers words of defeat in my ear. My God, I've drawn it. My God, I've drawn it. Death whispers words of defeat in my ear. My God, I've drawn it. My God, I've drawn it. God of creation, whoa, here I stand. I've left Babylon to find out who I am. I've traveled, I've struggled, I've failed in vain. My own ability will never see eternal gain. God of creation, it's you whom I see. Lord, I feel strapped and tied down and my strength is weak. Oh Lord, when I cry out, please hear what I speak. Bring life to my body, awaken this sleep. Death whispers words of defeat in my ear. My God, I've drawn it. My God, I've drawn it. Death whispers words of defeat in my ear. My God, I've drawn it. My God, I've drawn it. All vanishes and I stand in this place to face the truth for what it is. With no human escape to hide behind, just my soul and God, and I find it mind-blowing. Knowing that humanity in a mere mortal man like me can have my slate cleaned of mistakes and the chance to put on immortality. All darkness is Lord, that's in the subject spoken otherwise. And I refuse to take that nonsense, and I refuse to buy these lies. These lies of pain, these lies of shame, these lies of the break dysfunction. These lies of hopelessness that make a person feel like they're nothing. These lies that make me feel like my struggle has been too much to fix it. These devil took these lies, you've been told the role of a victim.
Well, I gave it the best shot I could. You did a great job, brother. Thank you. Try. Yeah, gotta try.